Today I'm taking you on my ride, which is in a place called Buji in Shenzhen. It's a quick ride, it only takes about 15 minutes, and I just do it as a bit of daily exercise on my new gravel bike. I bought this bike from Alibaba and asked them to send it in parts, send the whole lot in parts, so I could put the bike together and get some experience on building bikes. That's something I've not done before. And it was very interesting, very interesting. It was not as easy as I expected. Had to buy many more tools than I thought, just following this lady down the road. We've come out of what we call the garden, which is an area of flats that has its own security around it. You have to go through security to get into the garden. Nobody ever gets stopped, but it does mean that people trying to steal things are sort of recognised and not allowed in. So it's a very safe place, a nice place to live, really. Just whizzing down the road here. It's been thunder and lightning for it seems to be a long time now. And it's just nice to come out and see a bit of sunshine. We're just going to turn right here. That car's waiting for a grandmother and daughter to go by, and we'll let this lady go by with her little one. The bike cost me around about $700. It's carbon fiber with the wheel top electronic shifters. I've got to say it's brilliant. It's very, very lightweight, very much faster than the bike that I was using before, which is a foldable bike. Folding bike's a bit more convenient for getting in and out of the car for drives and things, but this bike is much faster, much easier to use. I didn't use the drop handlebars. I use it for commuting here occasionally in Shenzhen, and I didn't like the idea of the drop handlebars, my hands not being on the brakes. You may see later on that you really do have to have your fingers on the brakes all the time to be very, very quick. And also I just found that the steering's a bit more nimble and positive with a flat handlebar. So I put a pair of 600mm handlebars on instead of the drop bars, which I like. The position seems to be just about right. I haven't had a professional bike fit done or anything, but it seems to work very well. Here we've got a sort of a dedicated bike lane, largely used by scooters. As you can see, there's just millions of these scooters everywhere, and they drive incredibly fast. The same problem throughout the world. They've been deregulated, and instead of just doing 25 kilometers an hour, some of them can do 60 or 70 kilometers an hour. But this dedicated cycle lane essentially makes it reasonably safe. You're not going to get hit by a bus or a lorry on this, but they drive very, very close, which was another reason why I got the narrow handlebars, because they quite often will clip you as they go by, and the meeting speed of my bike and their bike would probably be around about 50 or 60 kilometers an hour a lot of the time. Just cycling up the hill. There's a dedicated bike lane on the left there, or a lot of people still use the pavement. There doesn't seem to be any rules on riding on the pavement or on the road, so as you can see, we can just sort of swap between both quite easily. The bike took me around about a month to put together. By the time I bought the extra tools and worked out how to use the press to put the bottom bracket in and set up the hydraulic brakes. But it was an interesting learning curve, and there was no disasters. And I've got to say that the machine is a joy to drive. There were one or two problems. The brake, where the brake calipers attached to the frame, it didn't seem the frame was quite flat, so I had to flatten that mount out whenever I tightened the calipers up to the correct torque. The brakes would bind, and I worked out on the last couple of turns. Screwing the calipers on, the last couple of turns the caliper would lean over towards the inside on the back brake. So I had to sand that down and put a little shim in. But that's fixed it. That's very good now. Just going up the hill here. It's a 13 speed bar one on the bike. And it cruises up these hills very, very easily. You don't even seem to get too much out of breath. Into another dedicated bike lane here. We're coming up to a little shopping mall area on the right by Bagalong station. You can see the tube station. Well, not tube, it's overland at this point. But that big structure up on the left is a train station, a DTA, which is their sort of underground or tramway. It's about 50-50. It goes underground under the city centre, but as it goes out, it's the same as the London Underground, really. A lot of it is overground, and about 50% is underground in the city centre. Big bus stop on the left here, and again millions of these scooters. The police are trying to crack down on the number of bikes that are not registered. You might notice some of them that overtake don't have number plates on the back. That means they're not registered, and they should all wear helmets. Oh, the lady just going by there, she's carrying a whole load of cardboard. There's a big sort of recycling industry here, and the older people in particular seem to manage to put together big loads of cardboard, which they sell to a merchant. I'll show you later on where it's one of these roadside collection areas for recyclable stuff. Just coming up to an area of Shenzhen called Dafen, which is a big artistic area. We're just coming up to a section that I didn't have too much confidence on going down at first. You can see it is very steep and narrow. So the first bit, it's not quite used to the bike yet. So it's a bit tentative coming down this bit. You can just about hear them hanging onto the brakes. So I walked down this bit, feeling not too sure. And then I saw this guy whizzing down on his scooter, and I thought, if he can do it, I can do it. And get back on here and ride it down. Yes, in front of us we've got Dafen Village, where there's a whole industry of artists creating usually copies of classic paintings, Mona Lisa and everything like that, that are bought up by hotels. But this seems to be a dying place. AI is taking over, and it's so much easier for them just to buy prints for next to nothing instead of having what looks like a genuine painting. This section is a bit tricky. The dedicated cycle lane here is very narrow. I was quite lucky. I was able to get behind this girl on her scooter, because if you've got a scooter coming the other way, there's very little space to pass each other. So that's why I wimped out here and come up onto the pavement to follow this man on his shared bike. The shared bikes are either bright green or bright yellow. And I'm turning right here to go back up the hill towards home now again. You can see this guy going up the hill struggling a little bit. No, the shared bikes don't have any gears or anything. The fire station there on the left. He's doing very well. No gears. This hill is quite steep. He's gone that way. I'm staying on the road because I've got to... The road splits here, and I've got to go up on the left-hand side here. Got to go up on that left-hand bit of road. The bike is fully carbon fibre, and it does seem to be very light. And the people that I bought it off were incredibly patient. With all the questions on how to do this and how to do that. But also they sent the wrong bottom bracket initially. They sent a screw-in one rather than a press fit. And one or two other items were not right. But we got there in the end. But I don't think I would do this if I was buying the bike in England and buying it from them, because obviously the logistics are huge in getting anything that isn't correct corrected. So I think I would probably happily buy the full bike. But the difficulty with all of these bikes and expensive products from China is quite often they're very well built and well put together, but effectively you don't have a warranty because it is just so expensive to sort things out. I mean, I have read that they will replace the frame if it's wrong. And I've also read on occasions that you can get ghosted by some of these companies if things go wrong. But I have to say that the company I dealt with were excellent, and I'm very happy with my purchase and experience of dealing with them. The girl I was dealing with, her English was fine, and she had a very good patient mindset and looking after me. Still going up this hill, heading back towards not my garden, but another garden, another sort of dedicated area of flats. You can see them coming up. This road is normally far busier, but because it heads up towards one of the biggest schools in the area, but we're on summer holidays at the minute, so all quiet here. Just going into the estate now, you can see the barriers. And in these estates, in these gardens, there are little shops and sometimes a takeaway. But in this place, there's scooter repair shops and a little place where you can leave your pet if you're going on holiday and things like that. Big car park under the buildings as well. But in Shenzhen, the parking is really difficult. For parking at home, it's not too bad at all in town, and it's cheap enough. I mean, it's very rare that we pay more than £2 or £3 for parking for a half a day in Shenzhen. Just coming up to the exit from this garden, the other end. You'll see some barriers in a minute. And there we are, there's the exit from this particular garden. Coming up on the right is a huge school. I don't know how many students, a secondary school. I don't know how many students there'd be, but it must be in the thousands. All of these buildings on the right here are for this school, and it's got to be half a mile up the road with just this school on the right-hand side. And when the students are here, all of this, instead of scooters, it's all filled up with the kids' bikes, which are just left unlocked, and there doesn't seem to be any problem with people thieving them or taking them. All just left, and they're still there when they come out at the end of the day. So up the hill, up the hill. There's a guy doing his exercises. One of those Xiaomi cars, it's the same company as the phone company, they make cars as well. And they're all that very distinctive colour, either that strange blue colour or green. Very few bikes, you might have noticed. Absolutely everybody seems to have a scooter. But very few people ride bikes anymore. You do see them on a Sunday. We go to a place called Shenzhen Bay, where it's a dedicated cycling area. These scooters are not allowed on the cycle track. And it is just cyclists, and there's every kind of bike: gravel bike, mountain bike, folding bike, Brompton bike. It's a good atmosphere. It's all just cyclists out there, and they've all got their finest lycra and Oakley sunglasses on. And here's the best bit of the ride, going down the hill now, back down towards my area. I don't have my phone mounted on the bike yet to show me on an app what sort of speed or distance I'm doing. I think I go through a speed trap here at 30 kilometers an hour, which feels quite steady on the bike. Oh, yeah, there it is. All of these flats in front of us are all brand new. There's nobody in them yet. But there is starting to be what seems to be a big surplus of flats and accommodation. That big grey building in front of you, the tallest one, has also just been built and it's just been completed, so there's nobody in that one yet either. Just go around this bus, come nice and wide so the guy can see me in his mirror. And then in again, another dedicated bike lane, and that finishes here. Going down here, you'll see another area. I think it's unofficial, but there's a big area where they're collect all this recyclable rubbish. You can see it piled up on that lorry there, and all along the side here, they're all just collecting plastic bottles and cardboard. Whizzing down, coming down towards a little section of Buji where it's old. You can see the buildings are older, and they are what's left over from the old factories that used to be in Shenzhen. There's not that many factories in Shenzhen now because the local government, decided that they wanted very clean air, and it is very, very clean, the air in Shenzhen for a major city. All the cars are nearly electric now. All the buses are electric, all the taxis are electric, even the big, most of the big yellow construction lorries are EVs now. Managed to dodge this shower. It looks like we've pretty wet roads. Just going to turn right here beside the lit station. The restaurant hasn't opened yet. But on the left here you can see the old factories that used to be here, and the accommodation the factories used to have, or still do in Dongguan. They provide the accommodation for their workers, so they don't have to pay for any sort of houses or anything, so they can save quite a lot of money. But this is a mixture of these ones on the left. They are now accommodation, but they used to be old factories. And you can see our garden in front of us. We've nearly finished the ride now. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the brief glimpse of what it's like to cycle around my part of Shenzhen. We've just got the fire station coming up here, and I'll turn left, then right into the garden. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it, and maybe see you next time.